I just finished oiling my face, so if I'm a little bit oily. Hi guys, are you guys here? I hope you guys got my other video. I don't think a lot of you watched it, but I went overseas to Jamaica, and when I got back, I realized that when I was there, I realized that I was not able to use this feature. So anyways, let's get in it. You guys come in. I hope you guys are here. If not, I'll have to try to get you guys in the evening, okay? So I'm having trouble forgiving. How do you know if you've forgiven someone? Or how do you know if you're struggling in that area? Okay, look at that. Look at the word unforgiveness. If you're in a state of unforgiveness towards somebody, a couple of things happen. You find yourself very angry. You find yourself mad. You find yourself feeling abandoned. And you find yourself literally pulling away from those people. And as a result of pulling away, what ends up happening is you begin to get into a shell and you begin to become angry. And the more angry you become regarding the issue is the more likely that you are to regress from the person. Have you ever met someone that, like, maybe you always say, oh, they see me and they act like nothing happened. They see me and they acted like nothing ever happened. Can you imagine? Yeah, because that person doesn't walk in the spirit of unforgiveness. There's a difference when you see somebody and they're walking in a spirit of, oh, look at this B. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm still with your man. Yeah, I'm still lying on you. But when somebody's time has gone by and that person is reaching out to you, greeting you and saying hi and treating you just as they would any other person in the room, perhaps they've forgiven you. And if you're walking around still carrying it, perhaps you haven't forgiven them. These are important attributes to have, because if you don't forgive, how can you expect God to forgive you? He says that we forgive so that our sins are forgiven. For a while there, I had gotten, well, still to this day, I have some issues with some different churches. I'm not really into like a lot of denominational faith. I go to non-denominational church. And when I noticed that so many people were getting hurt and broken in the church, I found myself like literally pulling away. In addition to like holidays and stuff like that, I really don't celebrate a lot of man-made traditional holidays. You guys got your tea? I'm going to have a sip, okay? I missed you guys. So when I went to church on Sunday, finally the Lord ministered to me, and he let me know. He said, it's not that I want you to abandon church. I want you to abandon religion. And by religion, I mean, I don't want you to religiously feel that the relationship with you and pastor, or religiously feel that the relationship with you and other people in the church or other members or what have you has to sit at a particular level. What I do want you to do is use your mind every time you're being mentored or taught the word. And I want you to match it up against mine. I'm telling you guys that you guys suffer because you refuse to seek knowledge. So therefore, I sit you and place you in positions where there could be issues and things that you need to take heart to and pay attention to, because I want to see if you're able to look into it and you see. I didn't say I'm taking you all the way. I'll take you some of the way, but I need you to be wise. I need you to be knowledgeable. I need you to know that, no, something in here is not right. And then I want you to make an educated decision. Is this the place I'm calling you to be? If not, then guess what? Go into a fast and wait for the Lord to lead you where he desires for you to be. And if you find yourself during the fast being pulled in a certain direction and he's showing you things, then he's talking to you. And if you're watching this video and you're dealing with unforgiveness, then he's talking to you. The reason why he explained to me that he needs us in services in a non-denominational one for me, and I prayerfully pray that you will search your heart and find out how God feels about certain denominations and denominations in general. We are not separate. We are one body. And what he showed me is that because there are people dealing with unforgiveness, and those people who are dealing with unforgiveness, in the particular service I went to, he asked all of them to come to the front. And I searched my heart and I said, you know, God, I don't have that issue. I love everybody, and I could see you the next day, or not the next day. Give me a day or two. Give me some time to Sit with the Lord and get some peace regarding our issue. And I can smile at you just as I would any other person. I really don't have a problem with it because I know how to let it go. Now, that doesn't mean I don't testify about it. That is how I'm overcome, because I testify about it. I talk about it. If you write about it. Pardon me. If you journal about it. But you do need to have a place where you can let those things go. They have to be let go. And if you have a friend, you may have a best friend or someone you talk to, or a spouse, and even them, sometimes they don't really want to necessarily hear about it over and over again. So you do need a positive outlet where these things can roll off of you. And then as you find yourself getting to that place of forgiveness, you will begin to pray for those people. Even if you think about them and you miss them, you'll begin to pray for them. And I've had that. I've done that with mentees, and they've eventually called me back and said, I understand what you're saying now. I understand why you didn't want me to cheat on my husband. I understand why you wanted me to heal before I got into that other marriage. I understand why, and me too. I've had those issues because I'm not perfect. None of us are. We've all fallen, and we've all fallen short from the glory and the grace of God. But had it not been for what his sacrifice and what he's done, then we would be lost. And thank God for grace and mercy that we're not. And that's why you have to forgive. Forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. Because then you're walking in peace, you're walking in the shalom of God. God can use you. God can use you to reflect what love is. God can use you to show somebody what love is. And I want to touch on one other issue before I go, because you guys know I'm not here long. These are accomplishments that the Lord helped me to make in my life. And I am a leader, and a lot of times there are books I wrote, magazines I've started, and a lot of times when you're alone, that's when God is able to really use you. Because in your loneliness, are you using it in a positive way? Are you using it to sit down and jot? Are you using it to be in his presence? Are you using it to get in the word? Are you using it to help other people? Sometimes it's through helping other people that you really are able to see what God has implanted in you, your gift, and how he wants you to use it. If you find yourself to be a person that's not addicted to alcohol, if you're not addicted to drugs, if you don't smoke and you don't drink, which is me, and I'm also a vegan, if you find yourself to have those attributes, maybe God is trying to use you. If you find yourself to be around someone who does smoke and drink, maybe God just wants you, all he wants you to do is not to minister to these people, but minister to them through their lifestyle. Until you get to a certain place, then God can use you to really speak to people at a particular time when he knows they're receptive and able to hear it. And I just want to do a gentle plug, you guys. Green tea. You need to drink it, no sugar, and you drink it, and I drink it regularly, and I'm 44, and I'm on no medication whatsoever. I am overweight because I was hit by a car, but I'm healing from that. You can see I'm still healing from that, and as I do, I believe God is going to help me to shed those extra pounds. As I was saying, if you're not a drinker, if you're not a smoker. Now, some people, they wake up in the morning drinking. They wake up in the morning smoking. They got to get that ganja first thing in the morning. They got to have the weed. They got to have the cigarette first thing in the morning. And sometimes you may be the only beacon of light that they have around them, to see you wake up to a cup of tea, to see you wake up to exercising, to see you wake up to a fresh pressed green juice and to enjoy it, to see you sowing to other people's life and to enjoy it, to see you say you're living a life and actually live it. These are beacons of light. You are called to be a light. And let me just brief you really quickly. Chastity Child, I am a team leader. And I build leaders. So if you find me ministering from a high place and you're not a mentor and you don't have mentees, this isn't for you. This is for team leaders. These are for people that are in the battlefields and that are working with young men and young women. This is to keep you inspired, because I've already done children and I've done the youth, and now I'm doing the young adults, and all this after being led by Dr. Miles Monroe, who is and was my mentor. I learned a lot about leadership, and God placed me in a position to work with leaders. I'm humbled by it because I don't allow myself to ever feel as though my mentees can't teach me. My mentees mentor to me all the time. They minister into my life. God will begin to use your mentees to minister back at you. It is amazing. And I'll tell you guys some things that my mentees have done. I'm going through something right now. Sometimes if I'm going through things, I do testify my life. But when I'm going through things, there may be times where, hi guys, where I may not tell you until that testimony is at a place where it's going to be a victory testimony. And you'll find that leaders are lonely a lot. And the reason why leaders are lonely a lot, because we have to make a decision to be alone. If you're going to be leading anything, say you're leading a band or an orchestra, you should be right here, and you should just be leading. You should be marching. And then when you get to a certain plateau, you should be able to look behind you. And those that are behind you, they stayed on track. But guess what? There might be some that you're going to lose. And if you're looking back constantly trying to keep them where they are, then you take your eyes off of the leader, who is Christ. Because we're not pulling anybody along. We're just marching. And by your actions, that is going to impact. Not by you saying you do this, you do that. No, it's by your life. So that's why my testimony is here. And you Google me at Chastity Child, and you can be able to see some of the things that the Lord has used me to do. All right, I love you, and I got to go. I got to run a couple of errands, and that's another thing. If you have errands to do, you guys, you team leaders, you have to stay on top of it. Because if God calls you to open an NPO, a nonprofit, which I have, you have to have those things pulled together. You have to stay on top of these things, because if these things are not, God can't use you if you can't position yourself where you're organized. God needs you to be organized, because if you're faithful over the least, over the little, then he can give you more to be faithful over. And it doesn't take big giant steps. I've fallen and I've messed up. I've screwed up my finances a lot. I've done a lot of things, but God still continues to love and sow into me and help teach me how to get back up. And if you're in the process of building leaders, you have to be able to keep yourself built and strengthened in him. The first thing I do when I wake up is I ask him, Daddy, what are we doing today? What do you need me to do? How can I be instrumental in somebody's life? What do I have to do today? And just stay in that state of meekness. Why? Because the meek inherit the earth. It's okay to be meek. It's okay to be gentle. It's okay to be kind. When you're walking and you find yourself smiling at everybody, that's because you're happy, because you're resting in him. So give it to him. I don't care what you're going through today. If it's a divorce, if it's an annulment, if it's a separation, if you're pregnant and he left you, if you're domestic violence, if you're lonely, if it's masturbation, if it's pornography, whatever you're struggling with, just give it to him right now in this second, in this moment. We can all agree. And I'm thinking about the issue that I'm dealing with, that will be a testimony. And I want you to think about any issues that you're dealing with right now. It doesn't take me to be like, no. You know, God says, don't go on with vain repetitions. When you ask me for something, before you ask me, I already know what you need. So I just ask you, Paracletus, the Holy Spirit, to come into this room right now. And anybody that's thinking about anything right now, Lord, touch them in their life in that area. And it is done. See how simple that was? Okay, that's simple. And that's what prayer is to missionaries. That's what we do. We're on the mission field. So sometimes we don't have time, you know, and I don't really encourage that. If you look down at some of my videos, I have pictures of some of these people in morning prayer, like, and they're running around and they're screaming and they're shouting, and it gets confusing and it gets religious. But you see what I just did? We agreed. Are you a believer? I am. And guess what? It is done. I love you. It's Chastity Child. Add me and send me hearts, okay? And share this with somebody that you know that needs it, okay? And I'm going to be looking at you too and watching and learning from you, because that's what team leaders are. In order to lead, you have to be able to be led. Bless you.